Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel stitch.rach here on Flosstube and on Instagram. It's Thursday the 23rd of May and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about cross stitch. Hi everyone! I finally got around to making a Flosstube. I think my last one was at the beginning of April. In fact, I know it was. I went back and looked this morning. My last one was at the beginning of April and so it's been a really long break. But for those of you that did watch that one, you'll be pleased to know I am in the house by myself today. So no background noise. We should have good lighting because it's a nice sunny day. We had some nice weather and then it's poured this week, but today's nice. And you know, for those of you who had several comments about my children in the last video when they were on school holidays, no children were harmed in the making of that Flosstube. So thank you for putting up with the background noise. If you are new here, very, very welcome. Today should go quite smoothly and not too chaotically, I hope. As I say, the last video, if you didn't see it, did not exactly portray calm rural living, put it that way. It was a bit chaotic. I have a lot to show you because it's been so long since I was here. I kept thinking, oh, I'll get a Flosstube done this week, and then just the week, as always, just got away from me. So I have finally sat down, but that has meant that I do have a lot to show you. I've got loads of whips. I've got to finish. I have a lesser spotted FFO. Even Madam is excited by that. She wants to get on the action, don't you, eh? Yeah, I have an FFO, like a real one. What the heck is going on here? What the heck is going on? And then I have a few other little bits and bobs to talk to you about. So I have a horrible feeling this could be a long one. So buckle up, get your cup of tea or your cold drink. If it's as nice where you are as it is where I am. I don't think it is actually. I think in the north it's still a bit rainy. But today here in Kent it is sunny. So sunny I regretted wearing a jumper for the dog walk. Right, that's enough waffle. Let me show you what I have been stitching since you last saw me, because I am sure there'll be plenty more waffle along the way. Do you want to start with the FFO? It's a proper one as well. It's not like a bookmark or something. It's like, it's proper. I made something proper. So last time I saw you, I said my out and about stitching was the Twin Birds pincushion from Girl with the Gavel Stitches. And I was working on that, sorry, I had some pins in it that I'll show you in a second, but I've just taken them out. I'll show it to you. And I finished it. I'm just scratching closed the holes where the pins have been. And here it is. There you go. So that's the front. Round through the side. That's the back. So I just put my initials on it and the year. I just got the font out of a cross stitch book I have, and then yeah, all the way around. Super easy to make. I filled it with some crushed walnut shells. I could probably have put a bit more in there. It was my first time filling something with crushed walnut and then having to stitch it up, so I wasn't entirely sure how much I could get in before it was going to start to be a problem stitching up the closure. I'm not actually sure which side I did the closure on now, but yeah, it was one of the ends. But there we go. I FFO'd something, and not only is it all FFO'd and looking amazing and not in focus, if I do say so myself, there we go. I also made some pins to put in it, so it's been displayed. I'll pop them in and then I'll show you. Being displayed downstairs next to my stitching spot. I haven't actually been using it as a pin cushion other than for the decorative pins, but there you go. Can you see those? Oh God, don't be difficult about focusing. There we go. So I've got 2 cotton reels that I covered, mini craft cotton reels that I covered with the same thread I used stitching the design. It's only those 2 colours. This was, I think, Distressed Denim by Gentle Arts, and this was Silver Fur by Cottage Garden Threads. And then I just bought some beads and made that beaded pin. I get my beads online from Totally Pins. Oh, they've all fallen over, and I will link them down below. But yeah, I am really, really happy that I actually made something. And yeah, look at me. What the heck is going on? And I was really motivated to do it as well, which is really unlike me, because I was thinking, oh, I'll do a finish, and I kind of get to it and I'm like, oh, I'm too scared. And then the day I finished the stitching, like I literally went straight to my kind of meagre box of finishing supplies. This is not a big box, people, but I do have some interfacing in, and I think within half an hour of the last cross stitch going in, I was interfacing the panels on that. So yeah, when I finished it, I basically finished it like a biscornu. There are some quite good biscornu tutorials on YouTube, so just Google one. But I covered each of the back of the panels in a lightweight iron-on interfacing, and then I just stitched it up like you'd stitch up a biscornu with a whip stitch along, which is what is recommended in the instructions as well. So yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. Promise. So yeah, I finished it definitely. I fully finished it definitely within a week of finishing the stitching, which I think for me might be a new world record. So yeah, so I did that, and then was like, oh, I am a god amongst cross stitchers. I'm not, because most people that is just routine, but for me that was a big old deal finishing something. So there you go. You can't say I don't finish things. And so then what did I do? So also last time I saw you, I was stitching on my April wordplay. As you know, I am trying to stitch one of the With Thy Needle and Thread wordplays each month of the year this year, and so far I am still on track. So I finished my April one in April. He is down there. So I've set up the camera slightly differently today, and I can't work out where you can see things. There you go, there he is. I don't think I really made any massive changes to him. It's stitched on a 36 count flax from Zweigart, which I got from Wool Warehouse. It's stitched in the called for threads, which are Gentle Art, stitched 2/2. And he's cool, isn't he? He's quite a nice little chap, that bunny. Yeah. It's not really a lot more to say about him other than he's done. I did quite enjoy stitching him. April was a funny old stitching month. I had 3 finishes, but like I think I had like 6 or 7 non-stitching days, which for me is an awful lot. It's not even like a bit. That is a lot. This is on the first 4 months of the year all completed on this piece of fabric. Obviously I've just left margins so I can finish them, but because I'm not going to display them like this, I'm going to cut them up and finish them, because now I do finishing or something. Let's not go that far. I'm not sure I actually do finishing. So that was a bit stressful. So I was there chattering away and realised the camera was not recording at all. It had stopped because the memory card was full. Anyway, I've worked out where I got to. So I was basically just talking about this and saying that, yeah, that was April kind of done. And then you got to miss me like struggling to put it up there and move everything around so you could still see it. The pink cushion's still here. So, and then I also waffled a lot about what had happened since you last saw me, and I basically just told you that my life had been a bit busy because some of the voluntary things I've got, well, one's ended, I'm no longer a parish councillor, and but I've managed to pick up another voluntary job along the way. My husband wants to know when I'm going to start getting paid. Work in progress, and it's just been a busy month at school with children doing various things, and with the eldest starting to transition to high school. So it's just been a lot on, and next week's half term, and then after half term it proves to be even busier, what with the new voluntary job I've got myself signed up to, and you know that term where it's all sports days and concerts and leavers things, and yeah, it's going to be a lot. Anyway, so the long and the short of that was I didn't do Stitch Mania. I didn't contemplate doing Stitch Mania. I haven't seen many people that are doing Stitch Mania, although to be fair, I'm not actually watching a lot of Flosstube at the moment because A, I've been busy, B, it's been nice weather and I've been outside. So I did see Rachel Talking Dog Stitcher was doing, going to do Stitch Mania, but I don't think she's filmed a Flosstube since she did the one about what her mania plans were. So I'd be really interested to see how Stitch Mania's worked out for her, because it can get a bit stressful starting something every day. Like, the thought of it's nice and then the reality of it, and I'm sure that's why I've got so many blooming projects that just never ever seem to finish. But I digress. So in May I did start my May wordplay. I was so convinced this was going to be a finish yesterday. I posted it on Instagram for my Wednesday swimming stitching, if you follow me over there, saying this is going to be a finish tonight. Me and Kirsty were messaging, Crafting Kirsty were messaging last night, and I was like, I'm going to finish this tonight, because my husband was away last night. So my husband works in London and commutes up and down every day. It's not far, it's like an hour on the train. But he had an event last night, so he had to stay over in London last night. It would have been too late to come home by the time he'd finished. So I was like, I can stay up and I can just stitch this till it's done. Well, A, I think I underestimated, as usual, how much stitching was left in it. And B, I just fell asleep on the sofa. So it didn't get done. But having said that, I did make some significant progress on it. I'm not sure it's going to be finished today. Where is it? Where's the pattern? See, because I've shown you the pattern already, and I've put it down when I realised it wasn't filming, so now I don't actually know where the pattern is. What did I do with the pattern? Oh, under the bag. So that's the pattern. Got a lot more colourful in May. It'd be very kind of brown and kind of, yeah, more muted colours, I'd say, for the other months. And then suddenly we get to May and we've gone quite colourful. It's quite a change in colour palette. If I show you the threads, look at those. I mean, the threads are the called for gentle art, so I'm also not underestimating how much the colours may have changed since it was charted in those colours. But they're very pretty and they're all working together quite nicely. And this is where I am. So I haven't got loads left to go. I've got to put the heads on some of the bees, and I've got to finish that lady, and then there is a mammoth picket fence. I think I fully underestimated the size. See that there? That picket fence. So whether I'll get that finished tonight, I don't know, because that's quite a lot actually. But oh, my camera's doing something weird now. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Bear with me. Hang on, I'm just gonna press something on the back because there's this weird thing. I don't know why it's doing it. Okay. Alright, it stopped doing the weird thing, so hopefully now it'll be a bit better. So yeah, so that's where it is. I need some heads on the bees and then that mammoth picket fence. So whether it will be finished tonight, pass. But it will be finished by the end of the weekend. So yeah, looking good. Very pleased with that one. I don't know if it'll show on the camera, but I just thought I'd show you some gentle arts. My hay fever's really bad, so if I'm a bit sniffy. Some gentle art dye lots. So I knew I was going to run out of Heritage Gold when I finished April. So this like kind of yellower brown, more reddy brown in the words, that is Heritage Gold. And so I ordered a new skein of Heritage Gold. And if you look at the word dirt here, can you see the first two letters are a lot different in colour to the other two letters? And that is because that is where the new skein and the old skein meet. So that D and the I are done in the old skein and the R and the T are done in the new skein. I think it's fine because it's quite a variegated thread everywhere. Anyway, so if you look at Potting Shed, you know, there's a lot of change in that. So I'm not going to take it out. But it is just to show you, if you're planning to like properly stitch something, it matters it's kind of tonal. They're not. You get to the point where you're like, did Gast even write the recipe down? Like, I know there is change in dialogues, but there's so much change in some of those. Did they write those down? I don't know. And like, for example, you see the dog? Here. That's in Gast Portobello. That's what it is on the chart. Look at the colour of mine. Like a completely different colour. I'm not mad about that because my Labrador is a golden Labrador, so actually I kept it because I quite liked it. But it's not brown, is it? It's not. It's not. Well, it's brown, but it's not dark brown. Anyway, so that's just today in Gast Dialect Land. And then I've stitched it as per the chart in general, other than down here, coming out the top of the beehive, was a little stars and stripes American flag. And I was like, I don't want that in there. So I just took it out and I've just popped another bee in, because otherwise there's going to be a bit of a gap. But I think the bee looks fine and kind of closes that gap up quite nicely. There is another American flag in June, which is slightly trickier to do something about because there's a person holding it. I'm going to have a little debate with myself as to what I do with that. I don't know if I could. I don't think it's only a little one. I think it'd be quite. Let me see if I can find the chart. Here's June. That was my phone falling on the floor. Can you see up here? There's a lady and she's holding. Sorry about the glare. She's holding an American flag. I think because how small that flag is, that would be hard to rechart as a Union Jack because there's so much more detail in ours in terms of the diagonals, that you usually have to make them a little bit bigger. So I think it would make it too big. And I don't really want to hold an American flag. Plus also, flags aren't as big a thing over here as they are in the States, I don't think. Like, people don't have flagpoles in their gardens with the Union Jack on. I suppose I could make it a St George's flag, but no, St George's Day's in April. I don't know. I might see if I can put a bird in there or something. I don't know. I'll have a little internal debate with myself about what I do about that flag. Anyway, so that's where I am. My wordplay is definitely on track. We'll get that finished in May. Please, please, please. Crafting Kirsty, you doubter. I am getting them done. It's in a House of Stitch and Stash project bag. Oh, my phone just buzzed. I don't know what's going on in there. People keep sending me messages. It's almost like that's what a phone's for or something. Oh, it's about a 6th birthday party that I'll read it in a minute. But I see my life is so glam. I bet you all wish you had my life. Right, the next thing, I've been working on this as out and about stitching during May, and it's in a Penelope's pocket project bag. I love this bag. Love this bag. And this is, I don't have a proper cover photo for this because I joined it as a Sal. It's Stitching Book Club, 3 Musketeers Sal. If you were with me last time, you'll know that I UFO'd one of my Stitching Book Club pieces, which was a Little Women one. And I did about UFOing this one as well. But actually, I like this one better and I like the colour choices. And I have read the book. Would I recommend it? Again, I did say last time I'm not a huge fan of Victorian literature. It's just not. And obviously it's the 3 Musketeers is Damas, so it's been translated as well, and I think it might lose a little bit in the translation, she says, definitely not having read the French version. Anyway, I digress again. Anyway, so when I showed you that UFO last time, I think Sally, Flossie Sews and Grows, is on a one-woman mission to save my UFOs. So obviously she gave me the suggestion for how to turn seasonal streets into something. When I showed that Little Women, like, tiny bit of stitching, she's like, you could make that into a scissor fob. So I will keep it in mind, Sally. But obviously with my amazing finishing record, although, you know, finish. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll become a scissor fob. Right. It's a bit of a scratty mess on the back because I had a bit of a disaster. Not disaster. That is way too strong a word. It was not a disaster. I just realised I'd made a mistake yesterday. And does anyone else do this? Actually, let me show you where I am and then I'll talk to you about it. So here's where I am. I've actually made really good progress, and I thought this bit here was going to be an absolute B word to stitch. But it's alright. It's stitching up fairly quickly. So I'm making good progress, and this is literally, I have not stitched this in the evening at all. It's out and about stitching. I really like the colour palette. I don't know what I'm going to do with it when it's done. I can't see it going on the wall, but I will try and think of a creative solution. So anyway, yesterday I was happily stitching away in the car at pickup, and I realised, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of a cross shape in the middle. I'd actually already stitched all the way across the top of this cross, just across the top. I realised I'd stitched it one too long, and because it's a completely symmetrical pattern, there's nothing you could do about it. It had to come out. But I'd come back and I'd stitched with the same thread. I'd come back along the top and then stitched down and started stitching the bottom. And I was like, I don't want to unpick all that. So I don't know if any of the rest of you do this. I cut where I've made the error. So I just cut it at the top here, cut the thread, and I just unpick until I've got just enough thread to not even get my needle into it. What I do is I get, so this is all I've got on the back. I get enough thread from both ends until I've got enough to thread a needle with another thread with a loop and pull the ends through to secure them. And that is what I did yesterday, so that I didn't have to frog. I'll just snip those ends. I didn't have, and that's all the wastage I got from doing it that way. You see that? That. Ooh. That's all my wastage. And I find that better than frogging like 40 stitches. So yeah, so that was yesterday afternoon, which was a big trailing thread and a random thread in the needle and whatnot. So I'm going to take this back out with me this afternoon, Thursday afternoon. In fact, I need to keep an eye on the time, because not only is Thursday afternoon a nightmare, so one of my children has a ukulele lesson that is literally 20 minutes after the end of school, but in a completely different place to the school. So we have to get in the car and drive through country lanes to get there. And then 5 minutes after the end of the ukulele lesson has a dance class, which is only like a few minutes walk away, but you know, you have to get changed and everything. So it's all a bit stressful. So to make it work in the first place, I have to make sure I get to school like half an hour early to get the best parking space. It's ridiculous. Like, some parents get to school like an hour before the end of school every day. Who has this time? Who has this time? I don't want to be at school half an hour before the end of school just to get the parking space. It's mad, but on a Thursday it's the only way I can make my life work. Anyway, so not only is that a Thursday, it does mean I get a good amount of stitching time in the car. But this week a road's been closed, and it's only a really tiny road, but it's a road that means that because it's literally like 400 metres of road. It's not even that, you know, it's probably like 200 metres of road. Like, because this tiny bit of road is closed, the diversion is like 4 miles, and that's because we live in the country and there's no other way to do it. So I don't even know what time she's going to get to her ukulele lesson today, because I need to use this closed road and I can't, and the diversion is miles and miles long. So we'll see what happens. Could be a stressful afternoon. Could be a stressful afternoon. Anyway, so that's my Stitching Book Club, Three Musketeers. I didn't tell you any of the information about that, did I? So it's from Stitching Book Club. It's the Three Musketeers that you can still buy as a finished piece. Obviously it's not a sale anymore, started it years ago. What was that? Oh, that was a camera lens. I'm stitching it on a 32 count Blue Sky, or so. It's by Crafty Kitten anyway, so they're not trading anymore. But it's 32 count blue fabric from a Crafty Kitten. and I did my own conversion to overdyes. So it's chartered in DMC, but I use similar overdyes, which are a combination of Gentle Arts, Colour and Cotton and Classic Colourworks. I think that's all there is to say about that. Excuse me. Yeah, suddenly I've sat down and my hay fever's decided it's coming out to play. Okay, then I have stitched on Cardinal points. So I only started my May wordplay about a week ago, well, about 10 days ago now, so I think it was not the Monday just gone, the Monday before that, which would make it, where are we now, the 23rd, about the 13th of May. But before that, in an evening, I had been stitching on Cardinal points. Would you like to see where it is? If you have never been here before, my longer term viewers know, sorry, I'm just knocking everything on the floor. It's one of those episodes where I drop stuff again. So, you know, I finished something, but I'm still dropping stuff. So, you know, normal service. I have been anyway, if you haven't been here before, I've been stitching this chart an awfully long time, or rather not stitching on it for an awfully long time. It's been my whip pal a long time, and I haven't always been better friends with it. If you're not familiar with the chart, this is Cardinal Points. It's by Julia Line of Long Dog Samplers, but it's exclusive to Gentle Arts. And there's someone at the door. Bear with me. Hold on, I'm just actually gonna bear with me. Oh, sorry. Right. I didn't need to go to the door. We have a random situation with our mail. We don't have a letterbox in the door of the house. We have quite an old house, so it's not that unusual. But most people, when they don't have a letterbox, a letterbox in their door, have like a post box, like an American post box that you put letters in and you go and empty it. And we don't. Like when we bought the house, it just wasn't there. We have a porch at the front of the house, and there's this stone in the porch, and the postman's always just put the post under the stone, which we saw no reason to change. And we're quite happy with it. We live in a low crime neighbourhood. And but the new postman, so the postman changed about 6 months ago, and the new postman seems to think he needs to knock on the door every time he puts the post there. It's nice of him to let me know, but it is also a bit annoying. Just leave it. I don't need you to knock. Anyways, that's why I didn't go down to the door. So yes, Cardinal Points. Cardinal Points. And I have been working on it. Oh, I thought it wasn't there for a moment. It's because I've cut the fabric down so dramatically. I thought it wasn't in the project bag. Here is where I am. Look at that. Oh, well over halfway. I did at the beginning of May, like, indulge in some, like, brain fantasy that I was going to finish it in May, which clearly I am not. But since you last saw me, I've finished all this side of the border. That is completely done. I've done this corner bit. I've worked my way along there, and that is obviously not done, but getting there, really close to getting there. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I'm so excited that it's nearly finished and it looks beautiful. My husband was saying how beautiful it looks. I'm like, I know, I just hate it. He's like, why do you hate it? I'm like, no, I love it, but I hate it. Anyway, there is progress. I am making steady and significant progress on Cardinal Points. I'm stitching it on a 36 count white linen, 1/1 in all the called for Gentle Arts threads, and it is beautiful. It is beautiful, and I'm starting to enjoy stitching it. I won't go as far as say I absolutely love stitching it, but I am starting to enjoy stitching on that. So once May wordplay is finished, I think Cardinal Points is coming back out for a bit more love. I'd love to finish it before the halfway point of the year. I don't think that's massively realistic, if I'm honest, but I would love to. I am going, so next weekend I am away, not this weekend coming, the weekend after. I'm going away because my sister's hen do. I'm going to be so much older than all the other women going. I'll be like their mother. My sister's quite a lot younger than me. And obviously all her friends are a similar age, so I'm going to be like the same age as people's mum. Anyway, but I have a long way. It's in Liverpool. So I've got a long train journey. So I might take Cardinal points. I don't know if Cardinal points is the thing to stitch on the train. Something will be coming with me to stitch on the train, whether that is Cardinal points or something else. I'm just worried that Cardinal points are not the greatest to be stitching on the go, but at the same time, I just love to get it finished. Right. And then I've only worked on one other thing since you last saw me, and I didn't work on it for very long. I worked on it for one afternoon last week while I was watching the new series of Bridgerton. Yes, I have watched the whole of the new series of Bridgerton that's been released so far, and now I can't believe I have to wait like nearly a month, isn't it? It's nearly a month until the next bit comes out. Anyway, I was stitching on Easy Peckings when I watched that. I didn't intend to stitch on this. But I was sat there and the things I've been stitching on weren't around, weren't to hand, and I couldn't be bothered to move, and this was next to me, so it got some love. I am stitching this with Sally Flossy Sews and Grows, although I'm quite happy to just stitch along with you, Sally. I just don't happen to be doing this with that Sally, it's the other Sally. We're stitching this as part of her 50 new starts for her 50th birthday this year in her Fun 450 Sal that she's doing with Sew Me Sarah, who's also turning 50 this year. And we agreed to do this when we met at Stitch in London last year. I'll be seeing Sally at Stitch in London again this year. There's charts by Cosford Rise Stitchery, and this is where I am. So it's not a ginormous amount. I did a little more of the tail feather and a bit more of the kind of green grass behind. I think I did a bit more of the fence as well. So just a little bit. I say it was just like 1 hour while I was watching a bit of Bridgerton one afternoon last week. I'm stitching it on a 36 count West Green Loft Yarns fabric. I'm in their Fabric of the Month club. And this was the March Fabric of the Month, and it's bark. So yeah, so that's that one. I'm stitching it in all the called for classic colour works. Might be a gentle art in there as well, but they're mainly classic colour works. So yeah, it is quite a nice stitch, that one. Some nice kind of big blocks of colour. Quite interesting. So, but it's not like square blocks of colour, so interesting. Interesting stitching. Right, so that is all the actual stitching I've done. I have here a little bit of haul and then some other various stitchy kindness, and then I've got a bit of knitting to show you. So haul wise, I got my new, well it's not new anymore because this was May, to be fair. This is my new West Green Loft Yarn Fabric of the Month club. They put in a needle threader that I actually only found today when I was getting all this out to come and show you. So they put in a nice little needle threader, and this is Vanilla Bean. It's quite yellowy. It's a very like creamy, you only get proper vanilla ice cream, not like Mr. Whippy, but like proper vanilla ice cream. It is that colour. I have a plan for this. I have a plan for this fabric. And it's something to do with what I'm going to attempt to stitch on holiday. If you know me, you know holiday stitching for me doesn't always work out. So I got that. I've just remembered that I have in my last video I said it's my wedding anniversary and my husband asked me what I wanted. And I didn't know at that point, but I said I didn't want any stitching stuff. Yeah, I changed my mind. That was stupid. So he bought me some stitching stuff and it's downstairs, and I'm not going to go and get it now. I will save it till next time. It will wait. It will make you come back to see what this wonderful thing is that my wonderful husband bought me. But it is good. And he did buy it for me. I've also bought this. This was actually for my daughter. If you follow me on Instagram, you might see that my eldest has suddenly decided that she might like to get into cross stitch a bit more. And a friend, not a stitching friend, a friend, messaged me on Instagram and was like, have you seen this from Cats Protection? Because she's a cat lover as well. We have 2 cats. She said, oh, Cats Protection are doing this cross-stitch stuff. I thought you guys would really like it. So thank you for the suggestion, friend. If you're probably not watching this because you have no interest in cross-stitch, but if you are, you absolutely know who you are. So thank you very much. So I went and you could buy it from Cats Protection, not from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Although I think I did see the other day that Caterpillar Cross Stitch are now selling these, but it was initially in May a fundraiser for Cats Protection. So I went, and Cats Protection do amazing work. So I went and gave them a donation in return, received my kit. I think there was like a online event and stuff, but we didn't do it. We were busy that weekend, so. Looking forward to having a go at that and seeing how customisable it is, because we at the moment have a tabby and a black cat, and in the past I've had black and white cats, so we'll see. And then I won something. I won a giveaway from my lovely friend Somi Sarah. I won the Serenity chart. And it is so beautiful. I mean, it looked pretty. I nearly bought it at market. No, I didn't. But when you see it, it is so beautiful. And she wrote me a nice little note. Thank you, Sarah. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it when my name was called. I never win anything. But she said to me, you could make it into 3 little drums, which you absolutely could. You could do it as one piece. I love those berry balls at the top. They are my favourites. Love this. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you very, very much. It was amazing to hear my name being called out for a giveaway. I never, ever win anything. Never. Right, I'm just going to pause you there and I'll be back in a moment. Right, and then, last but certainly not least, I got a lovely note, a message from Rachel, Talking Dog Stitcher, on Instagram the other day. And she had been asked by a company whose name I am now going to have to look up because now I can't remember and I've dropped my phone on the floor. Where's my phone gone? Oh no, it's down the back of the chair. Bear with me, I will tell you. So she had a message from Wood and Cat, and I will link them below. They're on Instagram as well, but Wood and Cat. And they had said to her, could they send her some stuff to show on her Flosstube? And she said, yeah, absolutely. And so they'd sent her the stuff, and she messaged me and said, so the perennial Rachel problem has arisen. Rachel AEL and Rachel EL. And they had sent her the wrong spelling. So I am Rachel EL and she is obviously Rachel AEL. And the things they'd sent her were personalised with a first name. But it was the wrong spelling. So she said, would you like them? And would you show them on your Flosstube? And I said, yes, I would love them. So she has sent me a lovely needle minder. So they're wooden. And it's obviously engraved with my name, which now I can't get to show. Spelt correctly. Come on. Let me find some paper of some description. Some white paper. Hold on. Hold please. I'll find something white. So, there we are. There you go. So it's got a lovely flower on it and it says Rachel, which is my name. And wooden on the back as well. So a lovely needle minder. And obviously they do these in a whole range of names, not just Rachel. That would be a very niche product. And I've never seen one of these ever. I think it's a really clever idea. It's a universal grind guard. So it's got a wooden bar at the top to which a magnet is attached. Oh, actually, no, the bar's just sewn on. Actually, I hadn't looked at it properly. So the bar's just sewn onto the fabric, so you could snip that off if you wanted to. I don't see any reason you wanted to. I think it gives you a bit of stability. And then it has this bit of fabric that in the 4 corners has magnets stitched into them. And so you just fold it, so you put your fabric inside it and then fold it up, and then you can hold it. So it'd work around a Q-snap, it'd work around a frame or a hoop. It would also work if you stitch in hand. Because obviously, like, most grime guards are just to cover around the frame. I stitch with a frame, but I also stitch in hand sometimes. So, in fact, I'm mainly a stitch in hander now most of the time. I've kind of reverted back. But, so I'm a lefty, so I scrunch my fabric from the wrong side. But you could, if you're a stitch in hander like me, pop it around your fabric where you hold it. And then you're not holding your actual fabric, you're holding the grime guard, which is a really clever idea. So I'd never seen those before. So thank you, Rachel, for thinking of me. Thank you to Wooden Cat for sending it out, even though I am not the person you initially sent it to. And I suppose thank you for getting Rachel's spelling of Rachel's name wrong. Because I have been the lucky beneficiary of the error. If you don't know Rachel, go and give her a watch. She has a Flosstube channel. She also has a little business selling CXC threads. That's her card. Go and have a little watch of her. So lovely. Thank you very much. Right, hold on. I'm now losing needles and threads. Disaster. Right, what have I got? So that is all the stitching. So if you're only here for the stitching and you don't want to hear me talk about knitting, I will say goodbye now. Thank you very much for stopping by, as always. Sorry it's been so long, and I can't promise it's not going to be a long time until I next film. But I do appreciate you spending the time to hang out with me. So if you're going now, I'll see you later. Right, knitting. So, since you last saw me, I have been knitting away on my Tin Can Knits flax jumper. So the first jumper I've ever knit, guys. And I have finished the body. This is where I am. So I'm really happy with it. If you want to see me wearing it, I will try and insert a picture here that I put on my Instagram a few weeks ago. It's very unflattering. I am sorry. It's a little bit, the only thing I regret is I don't think I used a stretchy enough bind off. It is a little bit tight at the bottom, but what can you do? This is why we do jumpers for the first time, to learn. But you know, I've done some German short rows in here. I've managed to pick up and start my first sleeve, so I'm really proud of myself for that. We went on a long car journey a few weeks ago. It shouldn't have been that long, but it ended up being long, and so it was a great opportunity to knit, and I was knitting away on my sleeve, and then realised I had not bought another ball of wool, so I had to leave it there, and then it actually hasn't been picked up again since then. Tension went a bit dodge after I started knitting on my sleeve, but I think I've figured that out. Again, it just, you know, the join is, it's fine. I can see where it is. Hopefully that'll block out. Do you want to see underneath? I was very nervous of picking up the stitches. I think that was the bit I was most worried about. And while not perfect, I don't think that's too shabby for a first attempt. I really don't. And these gaps in a raglan, I believe, are fairly normal. So yeah, so that's the start of the first sleeve. So I've just got to crack on with it now, really, and just get those sleeves knitted super in time for jumper weather. You know? What am I knitting this in? I bet I haven't even got any bits of paper to tell you. No, I don't. It's in a Rico Essential 100% merino wool Aran weight. Can't remember the colour. It's like stone wash or pebble or something. Anyway, there you go. So I'm really proud of that. I just need to now crack on and actually just get the sleeves finished, which shouldn't really take long if I just sit down and get on with it. Maybe I'll take that on the train to Liverpool with me. Option. That's an option. Right. And then while I didn't have much stitching haul, I have some knitting haul. So you may already know this if you watch my friend Crafting Kirsty, but Crafting Kirsty and our friend Chris, who is Bronte Stitcher on Instagram, she doesn't have a Flosstube, and I agreed at Stitch in London last year that we were going to have a day out in London and go to Loop and, you know, have a look at wool. And we did that at the end of April. It was the weekend of the London Marathon. We went on the Friday, and I will insert a picture of our gurning faces here. Super fun day was had by us at Loop, which is a kind of speciality yarn shop in London up at Angel, if you know London. If you're in the London area or having a day out in London, or, you know, a mini break to London and you knit, well worth the effort. So I didn't know this before we went, but it turns out Chris used to work there and also does a lot of their model knitting for them. So as we were walking around, she's like, yeah, I knit that. Yeah, that's one of mine. That's one of mine. But it was great to go with her because Kirsty and I are fairly beginner knitters. And she was just super knowledgeable about the wool and what we should use things for, and, you know, it was really good. And then we had a coffee before we went. I think we were in Loop for about an hour and a half. I could have literally spent a mortgage payment in there. And then we went and we had like quite a long lunch at a Austrian cafe that Chris recommended just down the street, which was actually very nice. We also met Chris's daughter, poor girl, who came and it was actually Chris's birthday that day, and her daughter had taken the afternoon off work, so she came and met us in the cafe while we were having lunch, and then they went and did mum and daughter things together. So really fun day out. Chris gave us a present. Her birthday, she gave me and Kirsty a present. So it was wrapped up when she gave it, but then when you unwrapped it, it was in this beautiful box. And I believe this is, it was a kit from, is it that company, Chris? So Chris was in a monthly box from this French company, which I think is Petit Brodius. Oh no, it isn't. So I wanted to say Reflet de Soir. It's a Reflet de Soir monthly box. Okay, it looked like that. And then she said, oh, they're both the same, apart from the colours are different. So open them and you can argue it out between yourselves. But we actually plump lucky and we both opened the right colours for us. So in this gorgeous box was, I don't even know where to start. So it was all like wrapped up in tissue, but we got a pattern, and they were different patterns. So that's my one. Like a little sampler alphabet. There's a little kind of picture of it as well, like a postcard. We got 5 skeins of Overissoir. So I got 2 greens, 2 reds and a blue, and they feel like, I don't know, the softest thing ever. Softest thing ever. It's like baby skin. Remember, like, when my babies were really little and you'd like just stroke this, like giving them a little cuddling, stroke their head. Almost feels like that, like the top of a baby's head. Yeah, anyway, it's got those. Then we got a reel of Overissoir. I don't know what the difference is. I've never really stitched huge amounts with silk, so I don't know what the difference is. And this is an Overissoir Pearl, the gold. So I was very spoiled. And then I got like a gold finishing trim, like a Rick Rack gold finishing trim. And a bag of some tea, which is in French. Cerise, which means red tea. Green tea, I think. Hibiscus flowers. Put that into Google Translate later. My schoolgirl French is not not up to that one. Cerise is red, so it's like red tea. Well, the hibiscus flowers would make it red, I guess. Anyway, so thank you so much, Chris. So go give Chris a follow on Instagram. She's the Bronte Stitcher. And yeah, mine and Kirsty's friend. And then I bought some yarn. So I bought some sock yarn. It's like brown and blue and yellow and green. I bought some yarn to make a shawl. So I bought these 3 colours together. I think I know which shawl I'm going to knit with it, but they are bought to go together and look amazing. So this one is Queen Fibre. Oh, so that's so soft as well. It's a fingering weight, ultra fine South African merino, and it is exactly as bright as it looks, and I love it. And then these 2 are fingering weight Quince & Co. 100% American wool. So these are a bit rougher. I mean, that feels like, oh, so soft. These are a bit rougher, but a bit more tweedy looking. And yeah, love them. And I think they're going to look amazing together in a shawl. So, you know, one day you might see the fruits of that labour. And then Chris came and just put this in my hands and was like, you have to buy this. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. No idea at all. Yeah, don't know. But it's proper like luxury, this. It's Le Bien-Ami, which is super fancy and quite expensive. Hand dyed in Paris. This is 100% superwash merino. It's a fingering weight. I'm pretty sure it's a fingering weight. And look at it. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's like this grey with all these neon colours in it. So maybe like a neon type shot. I love a bit of neon. I'm all for a bit of neon. Yeah, just amazing. And that is so soft as well. And then finally, because I hadn't spent enough money at that point, I got myself, they had these on the counter. Teeny tiny pair of scissors. Yes, please. So I got those as well. So yeah, successful day. Successful day, successful buying. Obviously you get the bag because you can't pay the mortgage next month, so you get a free bag. And that's all I have for you today. I think this is quite long, so I am sorry. And as I say, I just don't know. I could make promises about I'll be back in 2 weeks, but I think we all know now that the likelihood of me being able to keep to a schedule with these is about as likely as I'll have an FFO next time I see you. And if I do manage to come back in 2 weeks with an FFO, I'll be the first one to be like, what the heck? Who the hell are you? Yeah. Anyway, waffling now. I've got half an hour before I have to set off on my mammoth school run, so I'm going to try and stick the washing on the line, which I'm sure you're all desperate to know that. Really exciting information. And do leave me a comment. Do leave me a like or subscribe. Oh, final thing, sorry. Sian Perrington, who often watches this and comments, has just done her first Flosstube and it was amazing. And she has all these amazing finishes and it was amazing, Sian. It was amazing. So please go and watch Sian. I will link her below. She's Periwinkle Stitcher or Periwinkle Stitchery. I'll link it below. I loved hanging out with you, Sian, so please do another one. It was splendid. I meant to say that earlier, but yeah, I didn't make notes. You know what I'm like. So yes, until I see you next time, and I don't know when that will be. I'm so sorry. I'll see you later, Stitches. Bye.